$200,000. That's what an MBA from Harvard can cost you. $200,000 freaking dollars. But is it actually worth it, or are you just paying for a fancy piece of paper? Well, today we're going to be breaking down the real numbers behind the MBA decision, and this is one of the most asked questions that I've gotten over the years, and I've avoided making this video so many times because the answer is so complicated, but now I'm attempting to do it. Now, I'm very familiar with this subject because when I was getting my doctorate in pharmacy, I actually, for a very brief period of time, attended an MBA program. Now, this is a part-time MBA program that would have taken me 3 summer semesters in order to graduate from. And I took it for 1 summer semester and decided to not continue. And I'm gonna go over why that is in this video. And I'm also gonna go over why certain people in other situations might benefit from an MBA. Now, if you appreciate me making this type of video, let me know by gently tapping that like button, and let's jump into it right now. So here's what we're gonna be covering today. First, I'll break down exactly what an MBA costs. Not just the tuition, but all the hidden expenses. Then we'll look at the salary numbers and calculate the real return on investment. And I'll show you why specialization might be the most important factor in your decision. And finally, we'll explore some alternatives that might give you a better bang for the buck. But before we dive in, I want to be super clear. I'm not here to tell you whether an MBA is good or bad. An MBA is a tool like anything else. And if you're using the tool for the right situation, it's going to be useful. If you try to take a wrench and chop down a tree, it's probably not gonna work. If you try to take a hammer and hammer in a screw, it's also probably not gonna work. But if you have the right tool for the right situation, like a hammer and a nail, then it can work like magic. So I'm here to give you the unfiltered truth about the numbers so that you can make the decision for yourself and your situation. Now for the partner of this video. For those of you interested in advancing your education, I put together a list of online programs that are worth checking out. And I did this in conjunction with bestcolleges.com with their tool, Study Match. And these are accredited programs that are designed for working professionals. And they provide accredited online MBA programs that are reviewed for quality and designed for working professionals. So if you're curious about which MBA is right for you and your situation, for instance, if you need to take an online one and you're working while you're taking the MBA, obviously there's going to be certain programs that are better for that. Then go ahead and click the link in the description and the pinned comment below to check it out, because they'll give you a bunch of options that you can choose from. Hit that subscribe button for more unfiltered career and making money advice. And if you need help considering your online education options, check out Study Match in the description and the pinned comment below. All right, part 1, let's talk about the MBA investment. And we're gonna go over the hard numbers. So let's get real about the cost of an MBA. At top programs, you're gonna be looking at tuition rates that will make your eyes water. For instance, Harvard Business School charges around $73,000 a year just for tuition. And that is nearly $150,000 for a full 2-year program. And that's just tuition. No books, no housing, no food, no healthcare, nothing else. When you factor in all of those other expenses for a single student at Harvard, the total annual cost hits around $111,000 a year. And that means over 2 years, you're gonna be spending about $223,000. Got a family? It's gonna get worse. So if you're married with 2 kids, your 2-year cost can easily exceed $300,000. And think about that for a second. That's a house in many parts of the country. And we haven't even talked about interest or the fact that you can never default on your student loans. Oh, and Harvard isn't even the most expensive option out there. Schools like Stanford and Wharton can cost even more. But here's what most people don't talk about enough: the hidden costs. Beyond the money you're spending, there's an opportunity cost. For 2 years, you're likely not earning a full-time salary. For instance, if you were making $80,000 before going to business school, that's another $160,000 that you're giving up. So the real cost for a top MBA program, when you factor in tuition, living expenses, and 2 years of lost opportunity costs and salary, you could be looking at close to $400,000 or even $500,000 in total investment. And unlike a house, you can't live in your MBA, and you can't sell it if times get tough. It's a one-way transaction. But before you say MBA is never worth it and you close this video and you start thinking that Shane is anti-MBA, hold on, because while the costs are eye-watering, the potential returns can be pretty impressive as well, and we need to be fair and talk about this. So, part 2. return on investment analysis. So what do you actually get back from the massive investment? Well, let's start with an immediate payoff. Recent data shows that Harvard MBA graduates earn an average starting salary exceeding $175,000. And that's just the base pay. When you add signing bonuses and performance incentives, many graduates pull in over $200,000 in their first year after graduation, especially if they go into consulting, finance, or tech. Now that's a pretty solid start to paying back your investment, but the real magic happens over time. Over a 20-year career span, Harvard Business School graduates earn an average of $3.6 million. That's not a small number for only half of your career. Other elite schools like Wharton, Stanford, Columbia, MIT, Sloan, and Kellogg also report their graduates earning more than $3 million over a 20-year period. So this means most MBA graduates from top programs can break even on their investment within a few years. And with a median salary of $175,000 plus bonuses averaging $30,000 to $40,000, many Harvard grads can potentially pay back their tuition within a few years. But here's where I need to hit you with some real talk. These numbers are for top schools. The salary premium drops significantly when you move down the rankings. And although the education you might get from other schools is just as good, the prestige or secondary benefits may not be. And even within top schools, these are averages. Some graduates make way more and others make way less. And your individual results will vary based on your pre-MBA experience, plus the industry you enter, your performance, networking abilities, and honestly, a bit of luck. Now, the other thing that nobody tells you, there's a ceiling effect. After about 10 years post-MBA, your degree matters a lot less than your actual work accomplishments. At that point, the person who didn't get an MBA but performed exceptionally well can absolutely catch up or surpass the MBA grad who's been coasting. So is it worth it from a pure numbers perspective? Well, for a top 10 program, if you're planning to go into a high-paying field and perform well, the math usually works out in your favor over the long run. For programs outside of the top tier, if you're pursuing lower paying industries like nonprofit or government work, the calculus gets much trickier. But there's one factor that makes a huge difference in the ROI equation, and nobody talks about it enough. And let's get into that next. Part 3 is the specialization factor. And this is honestly the reason why it took me so long to make this video, because when it comes to the specializations, it's very complicated. And this is the secret that nobody tells you when they're trying to get you to apply to MBA programs. A generic MBA might not be worth much at all. In many cases, the real value comes from specialization. Now, specialized MBA programs focus on specific areas like healthcare management, technology management, sustainable business, or data analytics. And these programs often have stronger connections to industry partners and better placement opportunities in those specific sectors. Think about it like this. If you want to get into healthcare administration, an MBA with a healthcare specialization from a school with strong industry connections is going to be way more valuable than a general MBA from a more prestigious school that doesn't have those specific connections. And when choosing where to apply, you need to consider how different schools excel in different domains. For instance, Wharton has historically been the powerhouse for finance. Kellogg is known for marketing excellence, MIT Sloan crushes it in technology and analytics, and Stanford has those Silicon Valley connections for tech and entrepreneurship. So not only do you have to pay attention to what your goals are and what career paths you're going into, but also the specialization and even the area of the country that you might want to live in. See how this gets really complicated? And the best school for one specialization might be completely different from the best school for another. And this is why those overall rankings can be misleading if you don't dig deeper. And the employment outcomes reflect this. There are massive differences in placement rates between schools. For instance, for the class of 2021, Wharton had a 99% employment rate. Meanwhile, schools like Anderson had 93% and Haas had 90%. And these aren't small differences when you're investing hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the takeaway, the general question, is an MBA worth it, is almost impossible to answer, and it's also kind of meaningless. The real question should be, is an MBA with a specialization in X from school Y worth it for my specific career goals? And that is a much better, but also a much more complicated question. But it's the right one to ask. And if you're not sure what specialization makes sense for you, or if an MBA is even the right degree for your goals, maybe you should consider some alternatives. And that's the next part, which is alternatives to consider. So what if I told you that there are ways to get many of the benefits of an MBA without spending $200,000 and giving up 2 years of your life? Let's talk about the alternatives. First, online and part-time MBA options. Now, full-time in-person MBA programs can cost around $43,000 per year on average, but part-time online programs, they average just $14,500 per year. For instance, fellow YouTuber and my friend Richard Walls went to an online university, University of Chicago, and he had an amazing experience with them. and it boosted his salary by quite a lot. And it wasn't nearly as expensive as a Harvard MBA. And he did it all while he was still working. Now, the top-ranked online programs from prestigious schools can still hit six figures, but many solid programs from respected state universities can still fall in the $30,000 to $60,000 range for the total amount. And the best part is you can keep working and earning while you study. Now, the downside is you miss out on some of the in-person networking, and some employers still view online degrees differently. Plus, you wouldn't have this super high starting salary that you'd get with a Harvard MBA. Although many would argue that the difference in starting salary has more to do with correlation than causation, as many people who graduate with the very prestigious degrees already have a job lined up because of family connections or friend connections before they even attended the program. With that being said, the stigma for online MBAs is fading fast, especially post-pandemic when everyone realized remote work and education can still be effective. Another alternative? Specialized master's degrees instead of general MBA. Consider a focused degree in your specific field. Masters in finance, data analytics, or marketing, maybe healthcare administration can cost significantly less than an MBA while still providing substantial salary increases in those specific domains. And these specialized degrees are often 1 year instead of 2. Cutting both your tuition costs and opportunity costs in half. And in many technical fields, they're actually more respected than an MBA. Now, one great thing you can do that will help you decide if this is right for you, besides using Study Match with the link in the description and the pinned comment below, is to simply contact someone who is doing the profession that you want to do. And then just ask them their opinion. Should you get an MBA? Should you get a specialized master's degree? Or maybe you don't even need a degree at all and certifications might be good. And that's the next thing on the list that we're going to talk about, which is professional certifications. Just as an example, the CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst for Finance, PMP, Project Management Professional Certification for Project Management, or endless amounts of different specialized tech certifications can cost anywhere from a few $100s to $5,000 and provide significant salary boosts in their fields. And these certifications take months rather than years. And they cost a fraction of degree programs. And they can be completed while working full time. And I do believe that with jobs rapidly changing with AI and the world just changing in general, that certifications are going to become more and more popular. But the real question becomes, what are you actually trying to achieve with an MBA? If it's specific knowledge, there are cheaper ways to get it. If it's a credential for advancement, maybe a specialized degree or certification would work. If it's the network, perhaps industry associations or targeted networking can help. So the MBA isn't the only path, and for many people, it's not even the best path. And that's the next part, which is making your decision. So after all this, how do you actually decide if an MBA is worth it for you or not? Well, let me give you a framework. First, be brutally honest about your goals. What specifically are you trying to achieve? A career switch, advancement in your current field, higher salary, specific knowledge, network expansion? For each goal, ask yourself, is an MBA the only way to achieve this? Or are there alternative paths that might be more efficient? Second, do the math for your specific situation. What is the total cost for you, including opportunity costs? What's the likely salary bump based on the research from your target industry and role? How long will it take you to break even? Is that time frame acceptable for you? Third, research specific programs. Don't just look at overall rankings. Look at employment reports for your target industry. Also, talk to alumni who are doing what you want to do. Ask about their experience and whether they feel that their MBA was worth it. Or going the other way around, talk to people that are in the career path that you want to go into and ask them if they respect the MBA and specialization from the school that you're thinking about going to. Fourth, consider your life circumstances. Can you afford to stop working for 2 years? Do you have family obligations that make relocation difficult? How would part-time or online options impact your learning and outcomes? And finally, trust your gut. An MBA is not just a financial investment, it's a major life experience. If the idea of spending 2 years immersed in business education excites you, that has value. If it fills you with dread, that's a signal too that you probably shouldn't do it. And remember, there's no universal right answer. People who get the most value from MBAs are those who choose programs that excel with their target specialization, have clear specific goals for what they want to accomplish, do thorough research on program outcomes, take full advantage of networking and learning opportunities, and strategically position their MBA as part of a broader career plan. For these people, an MBA can be transformative and well worth the investment. For others, it can be an expensive detour. So let's bring this full circle and answer the question, is an MBA worth it? Like most important questions in life, the answer is, it depends. For some people, in some circumstances, pursuing some MBA programs, it's an incredible investment that will pay dividends for decades. For others, it's a costly mistake that delays their career progress and saddles them with debt. The key is to be strategic. Don't pursue an MBA just because it seems like the next step or because everyone else is doing it. Don't choose a program based solely on overall rankings, and don't assume the most expensive option is automatically the best. Instead, get crystal clear on your goals. Do exhaustive research on programs that specialize in your target area. Run the numbers for your specific situation, and consider all available alternatives before making your decision. Now, I hope this breakdown has helped you think more clearly about whether an MBA makes sense for you. And remember, the best career decisions aren't about following a preset path. They're about finding the right path for your specific situation and goals. So if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button for more unfiltered career and making money advice. Check out StudyMatch by bestcolleges.com because they'll help you find accredited and reviewed online programs that fit your schedule and career goals. I've partnered with bestcolleges.com and they're super useful, and I've kind of been looking for someone like this for years. And then I found StudyMatch by bestcolleges.com and I partnered with them, and they have been great. So definitely check them out down in the description and the pinned comment below. You'll enter some basic information and they'll connect you with accredited online degree programs that align with your interests. And also, even though this video is more tailored towards bachelor's degrees, I think you can get a lot of value by checking out my video, How to Choose the Right College Degree for You, by clicking right here.